Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Take a look at a few of these totem poles and wooden artifacts today. This is going to be a two-part video where I'm going to show you what I have in the backyard, and then I'll go ahead and show you what's going on in the front as well. Stay out of the shadow here, but looking at the wood grain, you can see, believe it or not, it's just like a totem pole. There's faces and birds positioned on this piece of wood. This is found at a construction site here in North Carolina where we find all of our artifacts. The next video that I'm going to be posting is about trespassing laws, so that you guys who want to look at artifacts it's the easiest place to find artifacts, and just want to show you how to protect yourself in case things happen out there, you know, what to do, what not to do and stuff in North Carolina specifically. But we have a lot of these wooden totems out here, and because it's 4th of July, we're going to go ahead and burn them. We'll be able to get away with it here in our housing development. But these little, you can see at the ends of them, they just have birds on them, and then you put them up in the sky there. So these are ceremonial pieces. And we've shown some really great ones. Some of them I gave to the local indigenous group already. But many of them just look like little twisty sticks. They're just little ceremonial sticks that were buried. You can see how these bird heads pop out on the tops of them. All right. And I don't expect to convince you just yet. You have to kind of go out to the sites and see them yourself, and I can post locations of those sites if you guys are interested. But they were growing these weird pieces of wood. Many of them are grafted, which we're going to show you here in the second half of the video. But they all are these little twisty, believe it or not, little twisty bird necks and bird heads with humans on them as well. So just thought to open this up just a little bit and kind of try not to get bit by all the spiders. There's a lot of insects in these. They're so dry, they're going to burn up really quick. But just wanted to show you a few of them. I got bugs crawling all over me right now. You wouldn't believe it. This one here. So this is a little bit damaged, a little bit old, but we'll pile that back up. I'm gonna put my phone in the freezer so I can see the screen, and we'll go out to the front yard where I have a nice presentation set up for us. Now that we've gotten rid of all the normal people, let's get after it. So to the main part of the video, this is how we're gonna do this today. We got a little blanket down on the a tablecloth on the ground, and we'll go ahead and point out a few of these already. Of course, you guys know the bow. This is a really interesting piece as it is grown into loops, and we have the grafted plants there. We have some bird blades, some bird swords, and what could be interpreted as just a post hole, like the top of a post, like a hitch, you can see, but it has been turned into an effigy as well. And we have some of these other oddities, and some of these might just look like broken sticks and things. These come from very deep in the ground, and they all have the carvings of the indigenous ancient Americans, Paleo-Americans, if you will, or Native Americans. It's hard to put a date on a lot of this stuff because as an American citizen, it's really tough to get something dated as a private person. You have to be attached to a college or a governmental institution. So we can start off on this beautiful bird blade that you guys can see. It's like a knife. It does have little human images in it as well. Down at the bottom there, you can see the little ripples for the mouths. And that's how I am able to know where the face is I look for the longest point as being the nose. And I always look above that for that eye. And then I see the little ridges down here for the mouth. And each one of these mouths represents a different image. So of course we can see that first outside image there. I might have to bring Princess Buttercup inside if she's gonna be noisy the whole time. Are you gonna be noisy the whole time? Are you going to be? I don't want to have to take you inside, but I will, Mrs. Fluffertons. She might be okay. It looks like I just broke a little clay pottery bird as I stepped on it there. That's okay, that doesn't have to be in this video anyway. Well, a lot of these you guys have seen before. Not these specific ones, but you've seen how the gemstones are stuck inside of the eyes, and that's what this one has as well. It's probably a mammoth on one side, but it also represents this bird. So this is the tail right here on this side, and you can see how the belly of the bird is kind of fat, and how when you point it over, you can see how the rest of it can resemble a bird, and that little hole there that you see that's represented is the eye of that bird. So it takes a little bit of thinking outside the box, and they were very creative with their art, and that's what this art teaches you. So these little hooks, you see how detailed that is. Right? It's really an amazing style of art. It teaches you to be more aware of the things around you. As you're trying to study and learn this type of art, you begin to become more aware of everything. And we have a lot of mammoths and birds on these, and humans. So let's go ahead and skip over here to our grafted plants. So when you find these grafted plants here, you know you're dealing with an artifact, because grafting is very hard to do in nature just by itself. It does happen, but it's very, very rare, and we find actually hundreds of these. I only have these two here to show you, but they're always exactly the same. They're like the bottom of a doll. You can see how these represent legs, like a person is walking. And these two sticks are grafted together. So it's a style, an idea, right? Here's another bird effigy, wooden one. That is, all these are wood, but this one's a little bit harder to see perhaps. We may be able to represent a mammoth here on this side. But again, just like on the bird blade that we were looking at earlier, the nose might be a little bit broken there, but we can see how the silhouette of the human comes out there. Maybe I can put them up here. Of course, different shadows and different lights do help to see these, so. We'll take a closer look at the bow. I knew I should have put a rock on the end of this. So, we can see how they grew the bow into a loop at the end, and over here as well. So they grow. Their art, they were coming back season after season. This is a 48-inch long wooden bow with the handle. You can see how when you hold it, zoom out just a bit so you can see the whole thing if possible. There we are. I think that the thinner end would probably be the top, but it is fascinating to have these. I really would love to give this to the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources here in my home state of North Carolina, but they won't accept any of these artifacts, unfortunately. Here's a common spear point, just a wooden spear point, and it is really neat because it is beveled on one side and rounded on the other. So this side is rounded, and we'll look down at there. Just imagine a whole stick here. And as we flip it, you can see the bevel is on it. So it has edges. Super fun. Super sharp, just like this bird blade is. Right? The first one that we looked at. Here we have just a wooden handle that this stone tool can fit inside of. You can see how the patina or the clay is kind of broken off there. These two pieces were found together, and this handle fits just about every kind of tool head that we find. Very universal with their works. You can see how the slot is done there and how this fits inside, and how this is just a hatchet. Right. I'd love to maybe glue that in one day. Here we have just a little wooden effigy of a fella. And let me go ahead and move it around just a bit. We have a little tiny face at the very bottom here. And then that long nose is for a larger image. So ancient people, just like you and I, how we're watching our cell phones now, they wanted to be entertained as well. So they created these little effigies, little pictures, just like Mom keeps photo albums. They were no different. They wanted photo albums too. Here we have just a representation of a bird head. And again, these are all found at ancient sites, buried very deeply. We have our gopher here, but before we get to him, let's take a peek at our duck. Many have seen this before. The beak, the crest that's separated there. We can kind of twist him around to see that round duck head, a little crest poking up. And we're going pretty long today. We're going a little bit over our normal time, but that's all right. You can kind of look at this one a little more, see if we can find a mammoth on it. Might find larger duck heads. Different angles and different ways that you turn it. We'll have these characters. I think we have a long-nosed character down below. And then you can tune that nose in to make it more proportioned. And of course we see our longed face. You can see the eye in the middle there, this spot there. There's probably a few of them, but that's the one that I see the most. I can already tell there's just a whole lot on this one. It's a very cool one. This is one of my favorite ones. This is a squirrel or muskrat effigy. You can see, and I'll bring them in the sun here just a bit so you guys can see it a little better. There we are. So you can see the 2 feet, how the tail is coming down, just like a squirrel perhaps. And then of course, we have our mammoth eye and the mammoth hump with its long trunk and tusks. Just looking at the bottom of that. You guys can see that well. Multifaceted style of art. Right? You think, why would people put several images on one object? It was the way that they were able to carry their history around. Being a migratory people, they could not just, create 15 different statues that only looked like one thing. And we know that the more modern Native Americans did this, and some of this stuff may be from them as well. But we know that simply because of totem poles. Everybody knows what a totem pole is. And totem poles have not just one image, but several. They usually have an eagle on the top, and then other images around, going all the way down, right? So this is probably another very mammoth-centric one, BC. BC. I don't want to bring you inside, but I will. I will if I have to. I will if I have to. Relax, let me finish the video, okay? We're happy because we got off work a little bit early today. And so she's wanting to go out and play. We usually go to the park together. And a lot of you guys I've met in person, quite a few of you subscribers. You guys know me from walking around with my bird. Buttercup is a big part of my life. But this is also just a very lightweight bird stick. Put it up in the air and it represents a goose or some other type of animal here. You can see how when you line it up there. And in 1 second, here we are. We had to take BC back inside. She got a little too much, but looking at the details of these little rounded sticks, these notched, grown into this weird style, or maybe even found this way. I don't believe they were found this way. I think they were growing them. Again, that same little style of just a little bird, probably a human as well. You can see how when we tilt it and move it around, it turns into a bird. That little separation for the beak is very common. And once you guys are able to pick up your styles in your local areas, you'll be able to see that as well. We can perhaps take a look at this stone just to look at the level of detail that we have here. So we have in the black, think of the black as just empty space. And then in the brown, which is this color here and this color here, we have two silhouettes, one of a woman pointing to the left, and then one of a man pointing to the right. So we can see the eye up here, the nose and the mouth of just the face here, and then of the woman. Perhaps you guys can make out that portrait as well. We'll bring him in the sun here so that you guys can see. And I'll give you one more example as well to take a peek at. Make sure our focus is correct there. Might be a little tough to see this one, but the difference in the colors is very important. So that point that you're seeing down below is the chin. And you can see how the body of the man and his hand is here. And then below is a little bit of a larger portrait of the woman with the yellow hair. And the whole thing, of course, is representing a bird once we tilt it. There's a lot on this one. Hello, good to see you. My neighbors. My neighbors are awesome. And here we have another one of these painted gateways. So here we have the character with the eye, the nose, and the mouth, just in the yellow, facing to the left. And he has this hair that goes all the way up like clouds. And of course, there's also little human images on here too. Little gemstones and things pushed into the eyes. So comparing the stone art to the wood art is fun. You might just be able to see the painted eye and the nose and the mouth here. It's probably an easier portrait. And then as you look at this more, you can see how this spot right here is the pupil of the eye with the mouth of the character there. Right? It's multifaceted. It has many different images on one. As a migratory people, they created this type of art that has not just one image on it, but several. So try to get it to 20 minutes, guys. I'll find some more stuff. But we could spend a lot of time just on this one. You can see how the eye is done on this as well. Each one of these, they were cherished and taken care of, and they were family heirlooms, just like our photo albums today are. So, super cool. We have gained a lot of knowledge from this stuff. Not just the wooden artifacts, but the stone artifacts, and then most recently the clay shale artifacts. So, what's very cool about the clay shale ones is that, you know, they're undeniable with their purple, the purple clay that they have, and the white, the red, the black, the yellow paints, the brown paints. There are pictures of birds and humans turning into birds. And it's pretty amazing stuff. So, do appreciate you guys hanging out with me while we did this. It's the fun part of doing this is sharing it with you guys, so I really do appreciate y'all. I guess we'll catch you on the next one. I don't want to waste up too much of your time, and trying to be respectful of your time. So have a great one. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.